What's good, my boy? I didn't really plan on making one of these videos today, but I was sitting in that chair over there going through my iPhone notes for the day to just look at a couple things I wanted to get done, and I found some ideas, concepts, if you will, that I feel like it'll be pretty cool to expand upon. Just to list some of them out that I'll talk about in this video. I don't have too long to record, but I want to try to touch on these three things. First thing I want to touch on is like one of the best rewards I've gotten from building things like houses or whatever as a carpenter. Second things I want to talk about is a little bit of a philosophy I got from Mike Tyson, a video with him where he was talking about doubt, and I think there's a pretty interesting perspective on that, as well as your three resources of time, energy, and attention, and how to manage them and the philosophy on why we scroll. I'm going to try to package these into like 20 minutes, so it might be tough. But to start on the building things, I've been building, well, not just as a carpenter, but I do pretty much all of it: electrical, roofing, fucking just painting, carpentry work, of course. It's really just like the whole scope. I'm just kind of like a handyman on steroids. But there's an old Steve Jobs clip that I put in one of my videos a while back where it was pretty much Steve Jobs saying, once you understand that the world around you is made up by people who are no smarter than you, and you realize that you can really poke it, you can really affect and change it, you change forever. And this is kind of what I've gained from building things. Luckily, I've had the experiences while I've been building to work on homes that are $7 million. One time I worked on one that was $20 million, not building them, of course, but being inside of them, seeing how they were built, taking them apart, fixing them, yada, yada, yada. And there's a weird energy whenever you're in like a total stranger's fucking $8 million mansion. You feel weird walking in that son of a bitch. And one of the things is the weirdest thing that I learned is whenever you go into homes like this, I might not want to own something this expensive, because when you own a big monstrosity house like this, oftentimes you have to hire a whole crew of people just to keep up with your property. I'm talking about not just the lawn guy, not just the fucking pool guy. I'm talking about you have to have contractors on retainer to fix anything that happens with your roof, fix anything electrical or add on to it, fix literally any problem that will arise. And whenever you have such a big structure, it's oftentimes that shit goes wrong with it. But I've done a lot of things onto this one home in particular, and it's just so interesting going into these homes where it's like you got to take your fucking shoes off so you don't get a speck of dirt on their marble floor. And then you go over and you start actually like prying the fucking house apart to replace something like a window. And it's just like, it changes your line of thinking. And once you get good enough where you can do that shit and you understand fully how it's done, it kind of has expanded into other areas for me where it's like, I'm not really afraid to break anything. I'm more like curious and willing to experiment and try new things and learn from like building and taking things apart and tinkering, if you will. That it's just kind of expanded my grasp of like the limit of like what I kind of like confidence type thing where it's like, fuck, I can do shit on that. I can do practically a majority of things, at least residential or commercial. I haven't really dabbled too much in the industrial construction realm, but blah, 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 blah. It's just like what Steve Jobs said. Anything now, I kind of realize where it's like, all this shit was just made by a fucking man. It's going to eventually decay. Like all this shit, no matter how well you build it, is just physics makes this shit decay over time. Okay? Everything in here decays over time. So you have to have people to fix it. Nothing is permanent. I've learned that which was a very valuable lesson. that nothing's permanent and it can all be fucking messed with and touched with, and fuck, everything has the ability to take it apart and repair it without damaging or ruining it. And I've kind of taken that philosophy into like different things where I don't really have any fear of experimenting. Whether it be with like an art or a real fucking world thing like a person's house, I'm not going to be nervous to do anything on it because it can all be fixed. But that's just a little ramble because a lot of these points are going to be really fucking different. Next point was the little philosophy I got from Mike Tyson. I undervalued the power of like mindset work. Like for a while I thought like all the self-help fucking Tony Robbins, Tim Grover, all that shit was like bullshit. It was not bullshit but kind of gay and cringy. That's what I thought. I was like, man, you got to be a fucking sucker to sit here and listen to like Tim Ferriss's book or any of these fucking books. And then I really just started, I watched this one video where it was like Mike Tyson talking about how as a fighter, one of the best fighters of all time, he became what he would call an annihilator of doubt, where anytime doubt creeps in his mind, he just pushes back 10 times harder against that thought with like positivity, love for himself, gratitude for himself, gratitude for God and everything he's blessed him with, blah, 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 blah. And it's like a good example from what I've practiced from it, and it does fucking help you tremendously. I've seen it help me remain 10 times more consistent. In the past, I would entertain thoughts of like doubt and things, stuff like that. I just thought it was like a normal thing that you have to wrestle with throughout your life. And I had this fear that if I tried to, if I did too much thought, if I put too much thought into like this fucking like what I would call Tony Robbins type self-help, where it's just like, you're fucking great, you're gonna be a man, blah, 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 all this shit. I was like, man, that's gonna make you conceited as fuck. You're gonna get weird, you're gonna get too out of the loop. You're gonna have like some sort of cognitive bias or something. And then I just implemented what Mike Tyson kind of practices, where whenever a negative thought comes in where it's like, man, I don't know if I can make this shit work. Man, I don't fucking know. It's like, no, you can make it fucking work. You just like, in your head, have the conversation of like, nah, dog, you can fucking make this shit work. You've done it before. You've beaten fucking so many different odds. You've done this, you've done this. List off your accomplishment that your past self has aided you with. Then be like, I'm in such a good fucking position. God has blessed me with this, that. I'm grateful for this. And just fucking hammer against that thought. And train your brain not to entertain that. And for me, the main benefit is a better consistency. A more rounded consistency. Where you wouldn't have so many ups. Oh, I'm real consistent. Oh, I'm really feeling good. Man, what the fuck? I just don't know. Oh, man, I'm doing really... No, it's just kind of like all smooth sailing of just getting shit fucking done, because the best way to put it is whenever you believe in the result, okay, you believe that the result is possible, that would be you pushing the doubt away, because the doubt's telling you that the result you want, the goal you want to achieve is not possible. But whenever you convince yourself in a moment that it is possible and you think it can really happen, you start to crave it. And what will happen is you crave the results you're looking for so much that it's like the work, the hard parts in between you achieving it and not having it is irrelevant, and it just gets fucking done. Whenever you have disbelief in the result, you're fighting against your fucking self to actually get the work done, and then you start making excuses. So that's that. We got the value of some things I've learned from building houses, the Mike Tyson. Now we'll talk about time, energy, and attention or focus, whichever way you want to phrase it, attention or focus. So you only have so many hours in a day. That's just say you sleep 8, you got 16. That's just a given. You only have so much energy which you expend out through those hours. Now, with the 16 hours that you have, you can spend a couple time doing things that are low energy. You kind of just got to find a balance with it, but once you run out of energy in the day, your hours are still there, but you kind of can't really you can't go do a fucking like hour long heavy ass workout or really cognitively demanding work once your energy goes away. And with the energy component, managing your time is fucking easy. Very simple. Time block that shit. Write out a goal for the fucking week. Do some Cal Newport shit. Write out your goal. Write out your daily time blocking. And your fucking time's managed. Buy it back. Remove anything you don't want to be doing from your life. And put in the shit you want to be doing. Now, I know it just sounds like I'm fucking speaking in magic here. But there is ways to get to doing what you want to do. Or doing what you love doing. By getting good at it. Okay? So, manage your time through different methods. Your energy can come through diets, adding in exercise or removing too much physical exercise, balance between the cognitively demanding things you do, and your attention or focus, if you will, is very easily managed with cutting out certain distractions. We scroll too much. We fucking look at the little screen too much, where the reason why scrolling and that type of shit is bad for you is it's like digital alcoholism. It's fucking a digital bong rip where whatever hole you have, I'm not going to try to define it because it could be a fucking million different things. But it's like you have a crack or a hole and you're trying to put paper over it instead of trying to fill it and cap it off. And this hole that you have, whether it be you're so fucking tired from work and you just want to feel something afterwards, so you start scrolling and looking at Instagram or whatever the fuck, that hole will not be filled unless you do something that is truly creative and creates something. This fucking scrolling, it might make your brain work a little bit, kind of. It might make you think of a funny idea. It might make you have a laugh. But that's it. It's like a 10-to-1 ratio of 10 minutes fucking looking for some funny shit and 1 minute of like actually finding a good video. It's all horseshit. It's all just like fucking alcoholism or addiction to drugs where you're just trying to fill a fucking hole. I've done it myself where I've been tired as fuck. I have all these hopes and goals and dreams and shit. And then I go and sit on the couch and just scroll for like 30 or 40 minutes. And I don't have no motivation. I'm lazy. I don't have the fucking energy to get this shit done. But the reason why you feel this way is because you're in a perpetual cycle of scrolling and doing shit like this. And doubt added on top of that. And you don't really have a clear view of the result. And it's all just fucking mumbo-jumbo bullshit. And then on top of that self-doubt, you don't have the concept that you can fucking truly mold things to your will and bend them to your will. Like I mentioned with the Steve Jobs thing in the beginning. So, those were just some topics that I wanted to talk about. Luckily, I tied them together decently. But, yeah. Chase paper, enjoy art and nature, my boy. Have a good day.